Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a comparison video of the Fingerbot Plus versus the Switchbot Bot button pusher devices. When it comes to making existing devices around your home smart, a button pusher can be a great budget way of achieving this, whether that's for your coffee machine or your light switch or your printer. Now, Switchbot have led this market for a long time and they do it really well. But recently I was sent the Fingerbot Plus from Adapro, and so let's compare them. Also want to mention that I'm not going to go into huge depth on either of these devices in this video because it is just a comparison, and if you want the individual reviews, I've put links to those below. So let's kick off by talking about the design. So both of these devices come in a choice of black or white, which is great for helping it match the device you want to attach it to. They also both have kind of box designs with rounded edges. The Fingerbot Plus is slightly bigger, but neither of them look particularly bad. Personally, I prefer the Switchbot design as the smaller depth makes it look a little bit smaller. The Fingerbot Plus, however, when it comes to design, has the slight advantage of having a physical touch button on it. This allows you to still operate it even when you're not using your phone or voice assistant. And this is particularly useful given that whenever you attach one of these to your light switch or a button, you typically can't reach that button as easily as you could before. But how much is one of these going to set you back? So let's talk about price. So when it comes to price of both of these devices, there are a few things to think about beyond the price of the device itself. Now, both devices on their own cost around £30. You can also get multi-packs from both companies which help bring the price down slightly. However, and this is the case for both of these, if you want to be able to use kind of scenes and out of home control and voice assistant, then you're also going to need their respective hubs. Now, the Switchbot hub comes in more expensive at £35, but it also doubles up as an IR remote. This allows you to basically clone any remote control and then operate it with your phone, for example your television remote. This is a really nice extra for the hub to have. The Adapro hub, however, is slightly cheaper at £30, but literally acts as a hub for out-of-home control and voice assistant control. And then finally, depending on the type of switch you wish to use, the Fingerbot Pro may require an accessory pack. This costs £10 and allows you to use it with rocker switches, deeper buttons, more protruding buttons, and also light switches. Out of the box, the Switchbot comes with a light switch accessory. This means when it comes to price, they're pretty much the same. So let's talk about spec of these two devices. So both the Switchbot Bot and the Fingerbot Pro are powered via batteries and they take a CR2 battery. The Switchbot has up to 600 days usage and the Fingerbot Pro has 8 months. Of course, this is going to depend for both devices how frequently you use it. However, this clearly gives Switchbot the advantage here. Both connect to your phone and their respective hubs via low-powered Bluetooth. And then in terms of compatibility, both work with Amazon and Google voice assistants. They also work with Siri shortcuts, and the Switchbot also works with IFTTT. If you're more techie and want access to an API, you can use the Switchbot API for the Switchbot and the Tour API for the Fingerbot Plus. All in all, the Switchbot Bot probably has the slightly better spec thanks to that battery life. So let's talk compatibility and what you can use these devices with. So both are compatible with a whole variety of types of switches. The additional accessory pack for the Fingerbot Plus means that it can work with more indented switches and more protruding switches than the Switchbot can. For example, my printer has a slightly indented switch and the Switchbot can't operate it, but the Fingerbot Plus can with one of the accessories. However, for the majority of flat or slightly protruding buttons, both work really well. Both also have the option to work with on-off light switches when you put them into switch mode. As mentioned, you need the accessory pack for this with the Fingerbot Plus, but it's in the box from Switchbot. When it comes to strength of these devices for operating on-off switches, both are pretty much the same. This means for your average light switch, both are fine, but for anything stiffer, for example a kind of fused spur, both will struggle. So let's talk about setup. So setting up both is relatively easy. The Fingerbot Pro is set up using the Mesh Hub app, but is also compatible with the Tour and Smart Life app. This means if you've got smart home products already, the odds are you already have either the Smart Life or Tour app, and so you can just pair it into this app instead. Whichever app you use, it's really simple to do. You simply click the plus in the top and then add the device. If it's your first time using this, you may need to pull out the battery tab first, or if you're using it for a second time, you might need to hold down the reset button on the back to restart it. Once that's paired in the app, you can then adjust the hold time, the down and the up levels. This allows you to get some really precise movements. If you want to set it up with an on-off light switch as well, this is equally pretty easy and in my opinion quite intuitive thanks to the accessory pack. When it comes to setting up the Switchbot, this is done via the Switchbot app, which is a really well designed app and an app I really like using. The app talks you through the setup process and setting it up is very easy as well. If you want to set it up with an on-off switch, the accessory pack does make this slightly fiddly. If you want to know how to do that, I have made a tutorial for that, which I have also linked below. So when it comes to setup, both are pretty simple and both have pretty good apps. And this leads us on to talk about usage. I've used both of these on a daily basis, so let's talk about what they're like to use. So both devices let you set schedules, they let you operate the devices via the app, and then you can also use your voice. When it comes to using voice assistants, I found there's about 1 or 2 seconds delay between asking for it to happen and it actually happening. So this is pretty good. As I said earlier, if you want out of home use and a voice assistant use and a schedule use, then you do need the hubs. Generally speaking, both do exactly what you want them to do, but the Fingerbot Plus has a slight advantage, and this is thanks to the physical button on the device. This means if you don't want to reach your phone or shout at your voice assistant, you can just tap that button to operate it. This is a really nice extra feature that the Switchbot doesn't have. So all in all, which of these is the best and which should you pick up? And if I'm being completely honest, I pretty much think it's a tie, and it depends on your use case. If you want to control a flat button or a slightly protruding button, or even an on-off switch, I think Switchbot is a better way to go. It includes the rocker accessory in the box, and the Switchbot Hub IR features mean that you can also control your TV remote or your speakers just using the Switchbot app. This is a really nice extra, considering you're having to spend an extra £30, £35 on a hub. Of course, the Switchbot also works with IFTTT, which you may or may not use. If you want to control a slightly more indented button, however, or maybe a button that protrudes a lot, then actually the Fingerbot is probably a better choice for you because it works with a bigger variety of buttons. It also has the advantage of having that physical touch button on, which is great when you don't want to reach for your phone or shout at your voice assistant, but also when you've got guests around and you want them to be able to control your devices, especially if that is a light switch. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. If you've got any questions, do stick them below and I will answer those questions. I've also put links below if you want to purchase any of the devices and their hubs. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys again soon.